What's going on, guys? My name's David3 and welcome back to Star Trek Online, episode 66, and we're back in Q's Winter Wonderland for the winter event. Now, the last time I recorded this it must have been back in 2017 for episode 22. I don't think I did one. I don't think I did an episode after that, but this one is going to be a different one. I'm not just going to be going around messing around in the winter event. I'm going to be showing you each and every event that you can do in Q's Winter Wonderland. So yeah, let's get into this. Now, the first event that I will be going over is the Snowball Fight. That one, it is the original event going back all the way to 2012. And basically, all you do is you go around and basically defeating all these reanimated snowmen that, of course, Q would have coming after you. Now, once you defeat 100 of the reanimated snowmen, then the Snowman Overlord appears on the middle lake, where the Klingon ice fishing happens. If you have enough people for it, it can be a very easy fight, but if it's only a couple people, it can turn out to be a difficult fight just because of his ground attack, basically, where he knocks everyone back, and that if you're too close, knock you back quite far, and in some instances you will actually get frozen because you're on low HP when he knocks you back. So not only are you quite far back, you are also frozen in place. Was the Snowball Fight, and let's move on to the next one. Now, this isn't exactly an event, but it's just something cool about Q's Winter Wonderland, and that being, if you have the frozen boots, you can actually skate on the middle lake where you can do the Klingon ice fishing. It's just something interesting that they've had since they introduced it, and I liked how they they added that small detail that you can actually skate on the rink, and like you can jump around, like do backflips and stuff. It was just a cool little detail that I thought I might add into this video. Now, the next event I will be going over is the Klingon ice fishing, because, well, we're already at the lake, so let's go over it now. So, what you must do is you must have the Klingon ice fishing gauntlet equipped to be able to do this. Now, what I found to make this a lot easier is to be using the ice boots as shown in the last clip, by how you have more stability on the ice so you don't go sliding all over the place. What you must do is, well, crack the ice with the gauntlet and grab a fish from the water. However, what I found in this is that there's no exact way to determine what fish you'll get. What I found is it's just luck that you'll get a small fish or a large fish, or I don't know. I just found it to be just luck in general. So once you collect enough fish, you will summon a gummy Kaskari, which is a gummy version of a Klingon demon in Grethor. And then again, just like the Snowman Overlord, this will be a tough fight if you don't have enough people. But if you do, it will turn out to be a very easy one, especially if you have like turrets and stuff, like I'm showing right now, where I'm putting down turrets, I'm putting down my mortar, stuff like that. That makes it a bit easier. It's the amount of Kaskaris I've seen defeated with 5. Let me know if you've seen any higher ones. but I haven't seen anyone be able to get to like 6 Kaskaris defeated. I've only seen a maximum of 5, so let me know. But this basically repeats and repeats and repeats until time runs out. And there's not much else to say about this event. One thing that does increase your luck, I guess, at getting higher fish are buying the upgraded Klingon gauntlets. They allow you to get higher get higher level fish, and then that will give you higher rewards for it as well. Yeah, like I said, there's not much else to explain about this, so let's move on to the next event. Swiftly moving over to the Gingerbread Village, we have the pie eating contest. Now this is again another original event that you can do in the game. This again was one that came out when they first released it back in 2012. And again, I remember this being at the original spawn area when it was all wood, I think, and then they had a wooden table and that. This was another one of those things that everyone typically did. Now it's one that not too many people do anymore, just because there's a lot better stuff to do. But I always like coming here just to get a bit of nostalgic in it. Just going back to what Untitled Wonderland used to be 8 years ago. Different levels of rewards depending on how many pies you eat in a certain period of time. Now, as you can see here, I technically got to 12 pies eaten in the time, but because I was already eating one, it counted as 13. So again, not too much about this event, but it's really only here for the old players now. Yeah, let's move on to the next event. Now, while we are in the Gingerbread Village, now let's move on to the Cones of Conduct. Now, in this one, you must build the Snowconian, the defender of the village, before the Snow Overlord comes and attacks the village. To do this, you must defeat snowmen who are already starting to invade and collect the snow from them, and also go around and melt down the candy that you find around the village, and then deliver them to the center of the village to build the Snowconian. Now, as you can see here, I accidentally, while putting down these turrets, I accidentally hit Alt F4 instead of hitting Alt 4 to put down the turret, and now you see I'm back in it. And let me speed that up quickly. Just because it's a very long event. So yeah, let me just speed up this, just so it's doing a time lapse here. There we go. And now, yeah, so basically you have to go around just defeating all these snowmen, getting the ice or snow. Well, they say shaved ice, but really it's snow. And going around collecting flavored syrup, and then delivering them back to the Snowconian. And then depending on how much you can get in before the time runs out, that will be the starting HP of the Snowconian. Now, if the Snowconian does end up being defeated, you've pretty much lost the event unless you have enough people, because once again, it all depends on how many people you have. If you have enough, it'll go easy. If, like, for mine there, it went decent. Like, we lost 3 houses, but I've gotten to the point where you've actually lost, and all the houses are frozen, and you lost the Cones of Conduct. But that was because we only had about 3 people doing it, but like today, I don't really expect many people to be on per se, because it is the first day of the Untitled Wonderland, so I'm not too worried about there being not enough people, because it's expected the first day to be less people, same as the last of these. less people. Typically around the middle, you get the highest influx of people. But yeah, again, not too much else to say about this one, so let's move on to the next event. Now, heading back to spawn, we have the fastest game on ice, the daily mission that you do for Keith's Winter Wonderland to get the chance of getting the ship of the year. This year it's a Mercury ship, I'm not exactly too sure what it was. But in this one, you basically just race all the way around the map, trying to beat whatever creature Q spawns in. In this case, it was a spider. Typically, I would do this with my ice boots on, but I forgot to grab them. And you probably notice in other clips I do have them. That's because I recorded these at different times. So, like, you can see right now on the top right it says Snowball Fight is still at 10 minutes, but before we were doing the snow coney, the cones of conduct in the previous clip. That's because I'm doing these at different times just so it pieces together properly and different areas. So yeah, in this one basically all you do is you run around, and what I found is basically drifting around these corners are typically the best option, just so you don't go flying out of the course. Because if you go outside of those lights that you see, you get disqualified. However, in certain cases, you do not. You've probably seen in this clip already here, me going outside of the light, but that's just I wouldn't exactly say a bug, but it is more of a boundary issue or something. I don't know. I guess you can consider it a bug, but it's a bug that not many people would complain about, because I have like in certain spots, if you go just barely outside, then yes, you will get disqualified, but in certain other places you don't. I don't know, it's this weird thing. But yeah, let's move on to the next event. Now, this event is called Tide of Ice. Now, in this clip, I forgot to start recording. I forgot to start recording, so I did it right after Wave 1. But this one, you most definitely need a lot of people for it, or else you'll start to get overwhelmed, like you'll see in a bit. But what I found is that because it is the first day, you find you'll have a bunch of new players coming on and doing it and just throwing snowballs or getting the 2 pistols to shoot. Now, those weapons I like to use typically just because it just brings me back to when I originally was playing this back in 2012. But for this one specifically, you can't do that well. You have to use the weapon I'm using right now. I can't remember the name. But yeah, you have to really use that because like you get overwhelmed. But this weapon you can take out all of them pretty easily. But you also you need a lot of people using better weapons rather than just throwing snowballs or using the 2 pistols. Like as you can see, I am using them, but that's because I forgot to grab the sniper, which does a lot more damage. But like you can see around there's a bunch of people throwing. Again, it's not bad, but for this one, you really do need a better weapon. So what you do? So in this one, to explain it, you have 4 different lanes with snowmen assimilated snowmen coming down. Now there are different kinds of snowmen that you have. You have just default assimilated snowmen, and sorry, I just realized that you might be hearing it through my headset, like the audio. I'm sorry for that. I didn't realize that until just now. There's different kinds of snowmen that you have. So like you have these clustered snowmen, I guess. I don't know the exact name. There's the assimilated snowmen, which are just default ones. There's the like I said, the clustered one, I guess, which then once you defeat it, oh geez, I just hit once you defeat it, it spawns about 6 more snowmen. You have the flying ones, which I do not like them at all. They're quite annoying. And then you have the ones that have a sort of shield around them. Again, not too sure what the names of them are. But then once you get to wave 10, I believe, you then have the Snowborg Queen, who spawns, and you must defeat her to, well, end this event, or else you will lose. I think you also lose if there is enough snowmen who ends up escaping. Typically you end up defeating more snowmen than escape. But I'm not too sure on that one. But there are defenses that end up that are already there, that like the beams of ice you can see, but they can be damaged, and that's what leads to our downfall, is that they end up getting destroyed and then we get overwhelmed. Like I said, we didn't have enough people, and the gear itself has a very slow recharge speed. So yeah, let's move on to the next event. And this next event is Krampuri, of course, based around a combination of Krampus and the Krampuri, the Klingon demons of Gretel. He will spawn randomly throughout the map and will move around when you defeat him. However, as you'll see in this clip, we didn't have enough people doing it, so we only were able to defeat him once. And trying to find exactly where he was isn't the hard part, because it shows it on the map, but trying to defeat him, since his attack are quite annoying. Certain attacks will put a basket over you, so you'll be unable to attack. And then there's other attacks where you'll just instantly be defeated. And then there are other ones where he will summon the tortured elves, which are just the Fakiri with a hat on. So a lot of these, there's not much else to explain of them other than that. So yeah, let's move on to the next event. The next event is the competitive race, where you will be basically just racing down a hill. That's pretty much it, with a bunch of obstacles and stuff. There are 2 ways that you can do it. You can either use the frosted boots or not. I typically use the frosted boots just to give you that extra speed on the straightaways. However, they are not good when it comes to corners, because of how slippery the ice already is, plus the frosted boots on top of that. So you really gotta do basically a 180 so you don't go flying off the track. And basically what you do is you go and you race down it, and then you grab the flag. The flag, depending on what place you get, you'll get different rewards. First place will get Epo tags. I think second place also does. Third place does. No, all 3 of them do. Just different amounts. So the first one, I think, gets about, I think it's like 5, 3, and 1, or something like that. But many people end up thinking that you just need to run into them and then you get them. But as you'll see in the next clip here, you actually need to grab them. So like, yeah, right there, you see the guy running straight into it, but didn't actually collect it. And then everyone basically thinking, oh, well, they got the flag, so let's move to get the 3rd place. So everyone moves away from it, but they don't actually collect it. Then as you can see right there, I come flying in and I was able to grab it. So yeah, pretty much it for that one. Let's move on to the next one. Now, for the next one, we have the TFO Winter Invasion. This one is based around the original Invasion TFO that nobody does anymore, unfortunately. Yeah, definitely unfortunately, because it was one of my favorite TFOs. But again, stuff changes, people change, and unfortunately, with that change comes certain TFOs being irrelevant anymore. Those being like Invasion, Fleet Alerts, stuff like that. Nobody really does them anymore. But it's unfortunate because they were probably some of my favorite ones. Now, what is special about this is that you go around and you can actually collect a recipe that we'll get into in the next clip, because that is where we will go in. I'll get more into those recipes, but you get them in this TFO. So basically what you do in this TFO is you go around and you basically try and make your way to the end while saving the gingerbread people, I guess.
The gingerbread colonist has been frozen!
Making sure they don't freeze. And then get to the end. Now, there is a secret boss in the Winter Invasion, which is the Yeti, which, again, it replicates what the regular Invasion TFO is. With the original Invasion, you fought the Mugatu. Now, the AI of the Yeti is identical to that of the Mugatu, except for a different name and different appearance. But it's basically the identical. And then, so yeah, you can defeat him and then get a bunch of different items. You get rewards for it and then buffs. He is a quite difficult fight on your own. And then once you're done with him, you go and you can fight the Snowman Overlord, or the Snowman Baron. You fight, and then when you defeat him, you beat the TFO. Again, it is very similar to that of the original Invasion TFO. So yeah, now let's move on and talk about the recipe that you can get. Now, for the recipe, you must go back to the gingerbread village and talk to Neelix. Now, you can do, yeah, there are so many different kinds of recipes, there are too many to go over, but you can basically, you can buy them on the exchange if you want to do a specific recipe, or you can do the TFO and try and get it, so you do a random one. It'll have you go throughout the map looking for different ingredients that will spawn if you're doing that mission. Don't worry, nobody else can grab them except for the people actually doing the mission. But in certain cases, you actually have to replicate stuff. Like once you grab all of them, you go back to Neelix, and then you can, and then you'll get the specific food that was, like, you'll get the food associated with that recipe. Now, before I end up this video, I just want to show off something that is cool about the winter event, and that is, again, another original thing that you can do back in 2012, which is basically insult Q, and he'll turn you into something. So you can see right now I'm a Fakiri. Before I was this weird, I was one of the spiders and stuff. And like it'll just be some random thing. Like this is my favorite right here. You can become a Horda. which are it's kind of funny just to see a Horta roaming around a winter paradise, considering it's made of lava and, well, it's magma. But again, I'm a Davidian now. It's weird and it's also cool at the same time because you can just be something for about, I think it's 3 minutes and just roam around. You can still do normal stuff that you're gonna do, but like, as you can see here, you become a demon. Again, another Fakiri, but it definitely looks like a demon. But yeah, it's just cool to do. And as this turn, I will be doing the outro. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe. And let me know that you guys like watching online. And, you know, maybe in the future I'll do more helpful tips and stuff. Like, I don't know, maybe tips on character builds, on stream, some stuff, how to set up characters, stuff like that. Yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.
Q loves
See you guys.
all the little